Welcome back. Last week we tied a compare spinner Trico, and I said I would do the sunk spinner version or the wet fly version or the emergent version, this does all of it. This fly is even more simple than the last one, which I think is really important when you're talking about Tricos. Don't overcomplicate something that's, 3 millimeters long. These things are tiny, less is more. And so what you're going to see with this fly is that it has very little to do with the tail. When the fly goes underwater and all your sunk flies, all that starts it's no longer visual to the fish. It's they get all crumpled up, and basically what you see is the abdomen and the wings somewhat, and they're all over the place. This fly, for me, is the only fly sunk-wise I've fished probably in, probably 30 years. This fly, it's so versatile during the hatch. You'll see not the hatch, excuse me, well, just the spinner fall, when you see them coming down, and especially on the rivers, where you see these heads, and they'll kind of stop being consistently putting their heads up, even though there's a lot of bugs left, put one of these underneath it, because I'm telling you, if a fish can keep his head down, it would much prefer, it'll eat underwater twice as much as it will on top. And there'll be bugs all over. Sink one of these just 6 inches down, and it'll be fine. But what you're going to end up with is there's not much to it. The good news about these flies have almost always been able to go up 1 or 2 sizes. As soon as it goes underwater, they'll eat one at least a size bigger. So that gives you a little bit bigger hook. And if you fish small flies, you realize that's really important. 1 size hook is a lot more positive as far as positive hookups on the fish. So just like the last one, the same hook. Again, though, you can go up a size if you want to. If this is a size 20, an 18 is no problem whatsoever. I'm going to be tying with 18 nano silk, this olive. If you want to do a different color, if you want to have white, black, whatever. I like to run the olive kind of in between the two. It darkens up a little bit. Never seen that be a problem on my sunk ones. I don't even do a different color this fly, actually, for my sunk ones. And so that's going to be the body of the fly. I'm going to use EP trigger point, same as the last one. But on the last one, I mentioned that we could go white. I don't do these bright wings underwater. I like this grayer wing. You don't see the wing underwater. Usually you see the leading edge and maybe a little bit of reflection, but not much. And then the thorax is going to be just black superfine. So I'm going to be using this 18-aught, which builds a little slower. Probably should have the hook, not the fly. I'm going to use this as the body, and it's just the build. So I'm going to use the wing as part of my body when I tie this in. Same as the last one. Can't believe I got that far. I can't see that thing. So same thing as the last fly. We're going to use this in halves. So I'm going to cut the hook right in half. So I've got right here, I went back. Just take your tag off. Come back 1 to the quarter point. And we're going to tie in just not a lot. Just 12, 15 fibers. You'll just get used to what you like. And I'm going to tie this in. It's going to be the body. I'm going to fold this back when I get ready for the wing. It's not going to be much of a wing. But I'm going to use this so I'm building a little bit of this taper in advance right now. I'm not going to do it like I did the spinner where I'm stair-stepping it so much. I'm going to cut this a little faster because I'm not going to have anything behind it. And I want most of that body to be in the thorax, not in the abdomen. And then we're going to cut this down. And you can leave, if you want to leave a half a dozen. It's going to be really short. I want to touch on, so I just thought about as I was doing that. This tail, I'm not even going to leave that much. I'm going to leave, it's just a little bit of nub back there. And I just want to touch on something I didn't think about during doing the compare spinner one. I'm using 18-aught nano silk, right? And this is a Renzetti midge bobbin, and it's just the spring tension. When you get under an 18, I would really, if you have your bobbin set kind of tight, remember you've got a really light wire hook here. And so if you go like this to pull on that, and it'll pull your hook, you need to lighten the tension on this. Make the tension when you're tying small flies in your hand. Otherwise, you'll be bending your hook and popping it out of your vise and stuff. Just a little less tension on the bobbin itself. So now I'm coming up here, and I'm going to work right up to the wing. I'm still at that quarter point, and this is going to get built mostly with the dubbing right there. And I'm going to put, so I want you to see, I'm sure you can, so we're still at the quarter, and I'm going to put just a little tiny bit of dubbing behind this just before I fold it over. I like to have a little bit of a, so the body's here, I like to have a little hump so the wing sticks up just a little, doesn't lay flat against the hook. I don't want it to just disappear. I want it to have a little bit of a bubble right there. And so I'm going to put just a tiny bit of dubbing behind this wing. Remember to always dub in the same direction. I think I missed saying that on the last one. So I'm going to have a little bit of a dubbing build up right here. And that's going to give, now I'm going to move forward. And you see I did about 3 turns over the wing right there, and I've got this little tiny bump behind it. And I moved forward about 3 turns, and just get a hold of it, tighten it down, and then come in and catch that. And you'll see there's a little tiny bulb right there, just a little bump. That's fine, move forward. But now you'll see that see how it's sticking up? It's not gonna lay flat against the body. So when it gets wet, there might even be a little bit of a gap there. That's great. It'll just give you a bigger illusion that it's a real wing. So now just a little bit more dubbing. You're all done with this fly. Just come in and a little bit more dubbing right over top of all of that. That's why I don't use a lot of buildup on my dubbing, because I want it to secure nicely in there. And just come right back over that bump. It looks a little naked right now because there's no legs, there's none of that. It doesn't matter. It fishes just fine, just like that. Now cut this off just a little bit, about the length of the tail, so it's just a little bit past the bend of the hook. If you want to fish that as an emerger, cut it shorter. If you want an emergent style, because I use this for the emerger too, just come in and cut it, shorter yet. But that's all there is to it. You got 2 or 3 little strands for a tail back there. This is the simplest fly. It doesn't get easier than that one. And so, I'm telling you, it is a phenomenal, if you're fishing a Trico spinner fall, and if anything goes wrong, they just stop on you, put that fly on, don't dress it, don't do anything, let it get underwater 6 inches or so, and it'll bring your day right back to life. And again, you can go up a size very easily, and it's a super simple fly to tie. It also works in the Betas for the same thing. Hope you liked it. Hope it helps you out.